At Christmas, my parents bought my sister's child a $3,500 Disneyland trip. Mom hugged my niece and whispered, "You deserve everything." My son opened his gift, a $5 gift card and a speech about learning gratitude. I just smiled, packed our bags, and left that night. 1 week later, they called me crying. Can you imagine your own family, the people who are supposed to love you most, publicly humiliating your child with a $5 gift card while showering another with thousands? That's exactly what happened to my son, and I swear, it felt like a punch to the gut. What the hell happened next? Well, buckle up, because that was the moment everything changed. My name is Ashton. I'm 34. I'm a dentist. I fix cracked molars, I calm nervous kids, and honestly, I spend way too many late nights buried in charts, my eyes dry, my coffee cold. I'm married to Naomi, and we have a 7-year-old son, Caleb. He thinks floss is a magic string, and that his dad can fix anything. But in my own family? I was never the fixer. I was the background noise. My younger sister, Mia, she's always been the headline. The glitter, the story, the golden child. If Mia sneezes, it's a miracle. If I save a tooth, it's, "Good job, honey. Do you take walk-ins?" I grew up learning how to make myself small. To be helpful. To be available. Car battery died. I jumped it. Someone needed a ride? I drove. The bill came, Dad forgot his wallet again? I covered it, no scene. I told myself that's what family is. You help. You swallow the little cuts, and you keep smiling so the night can just move forward. This year, Christmas Eve was at my parents' house. Warm lights, pine candles, Mia's daughter, Lily, running around in a Minnie Mouse sweater. I came straight from a last-minute emergency patient. I still had that faint mint smell clinging to me, those glove lines on my wrists. Naomi squeezed my hand right before we went in. "Let's keep it simple," she whispered. "If it gets weird, we leave." The living room was already packed. My mom was in full hostess mode. Dad wore his ridiculous holiday tie, candy canes and all. Presents piled under the tree. Mia, of course, walked in late, dramatic as always, carrying a glittery bag like it was an Oscar. Her daughter, Lily, 6 years old, bounced behind her. Caleb hugged me and asked if Santa liked fluoride. We did dinner. We did small talk. Dad made a joke about root canals. I laughed. I always laugh. Then, it was time for gifts. Mom picked up a big white envelope with a gold bow. She called Lily to the front, crouched down, and hugged her. I saw her lean in and whisper, "You deserve the world." Everyone cooed. Lily ripped it open and screamed. Disneyland? A full family package. Mia's voice was soaring, listing everything: flights, hotel, park hopper, Genie Plus, character breakfast, the whole 9 yards. Mom announced it was $3,500, but she's only little once. Then, Mom reached for a small red card. "Caleb, sweetie." She smiled like she was doing us a huge favor. Caleb took the envelope, looked up at me first, then opened it. A $5 gift card. Mom cleared her throat. "And a little note for our boy about gratitude," she chirped, tapping the folded paper. "Because learning to be grateful is better than toys." The room went quiet. That heavy, slow kind of quiet. Caleb read the card out loud, stumbling over the word. Entitled. He laughed because he didn't know what it meant. Naomi's jaw tightened. I felt that old, familiar heat rise in my chest, then sink, colder than ice. Dad clapped once. "Character building. Ashton, you agree?" I smiled. The kind of smile that doesn't reach your eyes. "Great lesson," I said. Mia snorted a laugh. "Don't look so serious, Ash. It's just gifts." Mom added, "Well, Lily's had a hard year. She deserves a win." Caleb held that little card with both hands, like it might break. He whispered, "Dad, can I buy a candy cane with this?" "Sure, buddy," I said, putting my arm around him. Naomi kept her eyes on me, waiting. Waiting to see what I'd do. The night dragged on. Dessert. Photos. Forced cheer. Small cuts. Same pattern. On our way out, at the door, my mother hugged me. "Don't be sensitive," she whispered. "You know we love you. Try to teach Caleb not to compare himself to others. It's tacky." I just nodded. Got it. The snow was starting. I buckled Caleb in. Naomi slid into the passenger seat slowly, as if each movement was a decision. She looked at me. "Are we really okay?" I stared at the porch light, blinking on, off, on. "We will be," I said, and I meant it. Though I didn't know yet the shape of that promise. See, I didn't become background overnight. It was years of little edits. When Mia and I were kids, we both got straight A's on our report cards. She got a bike. I got "Keep it up." When her soccer team lost, Mom baked brownies to cheer her up. When I lost the science fair ribbon, Dad said, "Life's not fair. Get used to it." I did. In college, I tutored Mia in anatomy for her CNA program. She got praised for working so hard. I got a text. "Can you Venmo $200 for her exam fees? We're tight this month." I sent $200. Senior year, my car died. I walked to the clinic and back for 2 weeks. Dad said, "Toughen up." Months later, Mia's car needed brakes. Suddenly, the family fund existed. I paid half. The rest magically appeared. Dental school wasn't easy money. People think dentists print cash. Reality? Tuition that makes your eyes water. I worked part-time evenings sterilizing instruments, studied until 2 a.m., and lived on rice, eggs, and terrible coffee. I graduated with 6 figures of debt and a habit of measuring toothpaste like it was gold. First job, I took every emergency slot, every Saturday. I kept saying yes. It became my reflex. I helped everyone. When Mia couldn't cover rent one summer, I wrote a check. When Dad's crown cracked and he wanted a free fix because family, I drove in on my day off. Mom had a minor procedure and needed rides. I rescheduled patients to take her. "Ashton's such a rock," they'd tell people. I felt proud. Proud and tired. Naomi met me in that phase. She was a nurse then. Steady hands, calm voice, fierce eye for nonsense. She watched me say yes to everyone and asked a simple question. "Do they ever say yes back?" I said, "They're family." She said, "That's not an answer." Then Caleb was born. Overnight, my capacity for noise and chaos expanded, but my patience for being used shrank. I started keeping track, not because I wanted payback, but because the details kept me grounded. 18 airport runs for Mia in 2 years. $4,300 in loans that never came back. 27 times I covered the dinner check because Dad forgot his wallet. 11 times they called me to fix something and hung up with a "Thanks, son," before I could even say I was busy. When we bought our small townhouse, we invited everyone over. Mom walked through the door, scanned the room, and asked, "You sure you can afford this?" I said, "Yes." She touched the dining table. "Maybe skip vacations for a while." We hadn't taken one in 4 years. Mia's life looked different. New phone every launch. Spot on a bachelorette trip she didn't pay for. When she had Lily, my parents turned into fountains. They bought a stroller that cost more than our mortgage payment. "She deserves the best," Mom said. "You know how hard being a mother is." Naomi laughed that night. A sound with no humor. "I guess I'm a ghost," she said. "You're a nurse and a mom," I said. "Double ghost." The money talk got louder when Caleb turned 5. He wanted a small party with a dinosaur cake. My parents arrived late, empty-handed. During "Happy Birthday," Dad took a call. After cake, Mom handed Caleb an envelope with a scratch-off lottery ticket and said, "This is fun. Teaches hope." He scratched it. "Nothing." She laughed. "See? A lesson. Contrast that with Lily's birthday, a rented indoor playground, a custom balloon arch, a pony photo op. Because why not? The party favors alone were nicer than Caleb's gifts from them that year. Naomi took pictures of Caleb's face carefully, cropping out the empty expressions, keeping only the pure smile when his friend gave him a homemade card. I kept telling myself it was just a phase. People have blind spots. Parents stumble. But it wasn't a stumble. It was a pattern. And patterns pay dividends if you let them. This fall, the money requests shifted into expectations. Mia called, her voice breathy with urgency. They raised daycare rates again. I'm drowning. Can you send $600? You make good money, I said. We're saving for Caleb's braces and life. She huffed. But you have that dentist salary. And debt, I shot back. It must be nice to have a safety net. I looked around my kitchen, at the fridge that hummed too loud. My safety net is a spreadsheet, I said. 2 weeks later, Dad invited me to lunch. The server hadn't even taken our order when he said, Your sister needs help. Real help. You and Naomi don't need much. You're practical. You can lower your lifestyle a little. I stirred my water with a straw. Lower it to what? He shrugged. Family sacrifices. I asked, When do they sacrifice for us? He frowned like I told a dirty joke. Don't make this about fairness. Life isn't fair. At Thanksgiving, Mom floated a new idea over mashed potatoes. We're thinking of starting an education fund for Lily. We'll manage it, but since you're doing well, you can contribute monthly. Automatic draft is easiest. Naomi coughed. What about a fund for Caleb? Mom smiled thinly. He doesn't need it as much. Ashton's stable. I stared at the gravy boat and thought about enamel. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't grow it back. Boundaries feel like enamel. You have to protect them early. Then came Christmas. The whispers, the envelope, the $3,500 trip. The $5 card. The lecture about learning gratitude. The room had a low hum, like a drill far away. Caleb's eyes were bright and confused. Naomi didn't speak. I could feel the moment hardening into something I couldn't stand down later. On the drive home, Caleb held the gift card between 2 fingers. $5 is still money, he said, trying to be brave. I can buy 2 candy canes. Naomi's voice was soft. You don't have to be brave right now. I kept both hands at 10 and 2 on the wheel. We're okay, I said. We're going to be okay. I meant it. But okay wasn't going to live in that house anymore. We didn't make a scene that night. We got home, tucked Caleb in, and sat at the kitchen table. The house was quiet, except for the heater kicking on. Naomi put her palms flat on the table. Say it, she said. I stared at the scuffed edge of the table. I'm done. She nodded. Good. What does done look like? Boundaries, I said. The word felt both boring and strong. No more money. No more errands. No more automatic drafts. No more gifting down while being lectured up. Christmas next year? She asked. Us, I said. Home. Or somewhere that doesn't require swallowing my kid's dignity. She exhaled. Okay. I stood and started packing. Not the dramatic throwing of things. The quiet kind. Documents, keepsakes, photo albums my mother insisted on keeping at her house. For safekeeping. I texted my dad. We're picking up our photo albums tomorrow. Please set them aside. He replied an hour later. Don't be childish. Then 9 a.m. or not at all. At 8:58 a.m., we were on the porch. Dad opened the door with that strange, tight smile. The albums were not set aside. Mom hovered in the kitchen. Mia wasn't there, but her voice lived in the house like perfume. Morning, I said. We'll grab our things and go. Dad waved a hand. Sit. Talk. We didn't sit. Mom started with a sigh that was basically a script. Ashton, last night was about teaching Caleb values. Lily's gift was from us and Mia together. You know how hard she works. Sure, I said. This won't take long. Mom lifted her chin. You're overreacting to a single moment. I opened the hall closet and pulled down the first album. It's not a single moment. Dad's voice sharpened. Don't take that tone. I stacked albums. Naomi stood beside me, steady as a rock. Caleb picked up a photo of his first missing tooth and smiled at it like it was a friend. Dad tried again. You think you're better than us because you're a dentist? I looked at him. I think I'm tired. Mom crossed her arms. We love Caleb. The $5 card was symbolic. Naomi's voice finally cut in. Calm. Surgical. Symbolic of what? Mom blinked. Gratitude. For him or for you? Naomi asked. Silence. Dad's jaw twitched. I put the last album in the box and lifted it. We're heading out. Dad said. If you walk out like this, don't expect us to fund anything for Caleb. Not his activities, not his school, not his braces. I smiled faintly. You never did. He stepped closer. You think you can punish us? I shook my head. This isn't about punishment. I set the box down so my hands were free, so he'd see I wasn't leaving angry. Just leaving. This isn't about revenge. This is about closure. Mom's eyes flashed. Closure from what? From being the background, I said. From being the wallet. From asking my son to swallow small humiliations with a smile. Mom reached for Caleb. Come give Grandma a hug. Caleb looked up at me. I nodded. He hugged her. She whispered too loud. Learn to share the spotlight. We left with our box. I buckled Caleb in. Naomi touched my shoulder once. A tiny press that said everything. We didn't slam doors. We didn't send a manifesto. I blocked the group chat and set my phone to filter unknown calls. I emailed Dad later that day. 5 lines. From now on, no loans, gifts, or payments. No errands or rides. Holidays are at our home. Any gifts to Caleb go through us first. If those terms don't work for you, that's okay. We'll keep our distance. I ended it. Wishing you well. Then I closed the laptop and took Caleb to buy the biggest candy cane we could find. It cost $3.50. He handed the cashier his $5 card with the concentration of a surgeon. He kept the receipt like it was a trophy. That night, we moved the last of our things from the closet at my parents' house. Old baby clothes Mom insisted on storing there. 2 boxes of Caleb's art. We were out by 9 p.m. Snow in our hair. Our house suddenly felt bigger, because it was only ours. I slept like a person who had finally turned off a machine that had been buzzing for years. The first 3 days were quiet, in that eerie way. No group chat dings, no. Can you swing by? Texts. I saw 14 missed calls from Mom by day 2. I didn't return them. On day 4, 2 emails arrived. Subject. Concern. Subject. You're tearing the family apart. I didn't open them. Naomi and I made pancakes for dinner and taught Caleb how to flip one without turning it into scrambled eggs. Day 5. Dad left a voicemail. Be a man and answer your mother. He followed it with a second voicemail. Fine. I'll talk to Naomi. She'll be reasonable. I added a filter to voicemail transcripts and saved them in a folder named Boundaries. Day 6. Mia texted from a new number. You're being dramatic. Mom and Dad did their best. Don't punish Lily. Then a second text. We need $750 for flights to Anaheim. Prices went up. Since you don't do gifts, maybe you can contribute to the experience. Naomi read it twice, then laughed once, loud, in the quiet kitchen. I typed and deleted responses. I said nothing. Day 7. The tone changed. My mother called Naomi while I was at the office. I came home to Naomi on the couch, phone on speaker. Mom's voice was thin and breathy. Ashton is ruining Christmas memories. Lily is confused. She keeps asking why Caleb's daddy is mad. Naomi said. We're not mad. We're done. My mom started crying. The kind of crying where you can hear the performance. We gave what we could. We thought a $5 card would teach gratitude, Naomi said. He's 7. He needed kindness. Mom sniffed. We always knew Naomi was controlling. Naomi ended the call. That night, my phone lit up again. 23 missed calls, 2 voicemails. I sat at the table, stared at the list, and felt this calm spread through me. Not petty, not triumphant. Just finished. At work, my assistant asked why I looked taller. I said, I slept. I did molar extractions with a steady hand I hadn't felt in months. I took a late lunch alone in the break room and realized I wasn't checking my phone every 5 minutes for the next obligation. On Friday, a message landed from Dad. Family meeting Sunday. Non-negotiable. Naomi looked at me. What do you want to do? I'm not going, I said. But all right. I sent a short text to the old group thread, even though I'd muted it. Not attending. Our terms stand. If you want to be in Caleb's life, show up with respect. If not, we'll be okay. Mia replied in under a minute. Respect goes both ways. I didn't answer. 10 minutes later, Mom sent a paragraph about how I had always been ungrateful. I archived it. Dad sent, so no money ever. I put my phone face down and built a Lego set with Caleb on the rug. Sunday arrived, and instead of a meeting, we went to the park. It was bright and icy. Caleb chased Naomi between the slides while I held hot chocolate and watched my family, my small, intact, enough family, move through the cold like we owned the day. After the park, we stopped at the grocery store. At the checkout, I saw a rack of gift cards. I picked one up and turned it over. $5, I said. Naomi rolled her eyes. I bought it anyway and handed it to Caleb. You know what this one buys? He shrugged. Candy cane gum, I said. For after flossing. He grinned. That evening the apologies started. Except they weren't apologies. They were negotiations. We didn't mean it that way. You're too sensitive. Okay, maybe the Disneyland thing was a little much, but you know how Mia is. Let it go, Ashton. I didn't answer. I cooked. I lined up lunchboxes. I set out Caleb's uniform. I flossed. I went to bed. Monday morning, Dad showed up at my office without an appointment. He stood at the front desk, heavy in his coat, and announced, I need a crown fixed. Our receptionist said, Next opening is Thursday. He said, I'm his father. She said, Thursday. He sat down, huffing. I came out between patients and led him to an empty consult room. He started, Your mother hasn't slept. Mia is hysterical. Lily is crying. You can't be this cruel. I said, How can I help you with your tooth? He stared, then laughed without humor. That's how you want to play it, Dad? I said, I sent terms. You ignored them. This is me following them. His voice rose. We gave you everything. I counted breaths. I gave you time, money, and respect for years. I asked for none of it back. Now I'm asking for a boundary. He leaned forward. You'll regret this. I won't, I said softly. But even if I did, it would still be mine. He shook his head and left. He didn't fix the crown that week. I didn't call to reschedule. It felt strange, like touching a tooth that used to hurt and feeling nothing. A few days later, Mia posted photos. Lily with a princess. Mia with a cocktail. Captions about magic and dreams. Mom commented hearts. There was no mention of who paid. Maybe they moved money around. Maybe someone else covered it. Maybe debt would knock later. Not my business. Our life got simple. Naomi and I made a new rule: no discussions about my parents after 9 p.m. We moved Caleb's bedtime earlier. We ate together 3 nights in a row. On Saturday, I took Caleb to the clinic and let him sit in the big chair. Is this what you do? He asked. Mostly, I said. Does it hurt people? No, I said. I help them feel better. He nodded. Like you did for us. I looked at him. Yeah, I said. Like that. Then the week passed, and just when the silence felt permanent, the phone rang on a Wednesday night at 8:42 p.m. It was Mom. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. I let it ring. She called Naomi. Naomi glanced at me. I shook my head. The call ended. Then came a text from Dad. Emergency. Call now. Naomi put her hand on my arm. Your call. I called. Mom answered with a rush of breath. Ashton, thank God! Your sister! Her voice cracked. Lily fell at the playground. She broke a tooth. A front one. She's in pain. Mia is panicking. The ER said to see a dentist. We thought, we need you. I closed my eyes. I know children's teeth. I know pain. I also know patterns. What's the plan? I asked. We're on our way to your office, Mom said. Please, we'll be there in 15. I glanced at Naomi. She nodded once. Okay, I said. I'll meet you there. On the drive, the car was quiet. Naomi finally said, I'm proud of you. Either way. Either way? I asked. Either boundary or help with terms, she said. As long as it's your choice. We pulled into the lot. I unlocked the door and turned on the lights. 5 minutes later, Mia ran in carrying Lily, who was sobbing, lips swollen, a chip out of her front tooth. Ash, Mia said, breathless. Please. I looked at Lily. Hey, kiddo, I've got you. I looked at Mia. Before we start, 2 things. Mia blinked. Now? No, I said. 1, you consent to treatment and the cost. 2, after this, you and Mom and Dad follow our terms. No lectures, no uneven gifts, no money asks. Respect for my family. Mom started. Ashton. I raised a hand. This is me being clear. Mia swallowed. Her eyes shiny. Okay. Yes. Please just help her. I helped her. 30 minutes later, Lily left with a temporary fix, pain reliever instructions, and an appointment time for a proper restoration. Mia hugged me in the hallway, stiff, like old habits fighting new rules. Thank you, she said. I'm sorry for things. Me too, I said. I didn't say for what. I didn't try to tidy the past in a single sentence. We locked up. I carried home the quiet like a warm coat. The next morning, I woke up to an email from my mother. No emojis, no scripts. Just words. Ashton, I'm sorry. We were wrong. We thought we were teaching lessons. We were repeating patterns. I don't want to lose you or Naomi or Caleb. We will follow your terms. Mom. Dad sent a separate text. I don't know how to do this, but I want to try. Thursday at 3 p.m. for the crown. I replied. Thursday works. Bring your insurance card. He said. Copy. Mia texted. Thank you for helping Lily. I told her Uncle Ash is a hero. I know that's not your job. We'll respect your family. I mean it. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt steady. Like a tooth seated right after months of ache. We didn't rush back. We didn't plan joint vacations. We didn't rewrite history in a group hug. We started small. A coffee with Mom where she listened more than she talked. A visit with Dad where he showed up on time and paid at the counter without making a scene. A Sunday afternoon at our place where Lily and Caleb built a tower out of blocks, and nobody made a joke about gratitude. At our house, we keep the 5 lines printed on a card on the fridge. Not as a threat, but as a compass. When someone slips, and they do, we point to the card. Boundaries aren't a wall. They're a map. If you asked me what changed most, I'd tell you it wasn't them. It was me. I stopped auditioning for a role I never wanted. I stopped calling humiliation lessons. I stopped letting a $5 card define my kid. I'm not interested in revenge. I'm interested in clean margins. In a calendar that belongs to the three of us. In holidays that don't taste like swallowing glass. My name is Ashton. I'm 34. I'm a dentist. I fix what I can fix, and I let go of what's not mine. I love my wife. I love my son. And I love peace more than I love being included. And if you're wondering about next Christmas, it's here. At our table. With hot cocoa, and lopsided gingerbread, and a gift for Caleb that says plainly, and without lectures, you deserve the world, too. Have you ever felt like you were constantly giving more than you received in your family? What's your line in the sand? Let me know in the comments below. I really want to hear your stories.